Please let me couch that in this way. That's some real estate agents. There are a lot of good real estate agents out there, a lot of great realtors, especially if they belong to the Board of Realtors. The Board of Realtors has their own group of rules and regulations, and they can issue fines. They can take somebody's membership away and all that. So and that's certainly a good thing to help keep the industry clean. But there is that group of greedy people out there that they will cut your throat. They will cut somebody's throat. I believe they would physically take a knife and cut somebody's throat physically if they thought they could get away with it, and if it would make them a bunch of money. So it's just kind of a scary thought, you know, really. Anyway, man, I want to get off that topic. So I'm looking at my notes here. To be a property manager, a person has to be duly licensed by the state of Washington. I believe all states are like that. A person has to be a fully licensed brokerage to take other people's money and act as a real estate agent, as a property manager. They have to become a licensed real estate agent to act as a property manager. Real estate agents tend to look down on property managers and landlords. They sit up there with their tie on, and the girls have their beautiful dress on, they're looking good with their jewelry and all fit to go to church. And they hold themselves in high esteem because when they make a sale, they can make $10,000 or $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. It's not uncommon to make $30,000 commission on a sale of a house, a single-family house, $30,000 commission. Okay, so you know, they think, well, you know, they drive a new car or whatever, you know, and they live in a big fine house. But the reality is 5%. It's not the 90-10, it's the 95-5 rule. 5% of realtors and licensed real estate agents make 95% of the money. 95% of real estate agents and realtors are J-O-B. It's a job. They're just over broke. Meaning they're barely making it. They're barely, and in fact, the majority of real estate agents have a job somewhere, punching a time clock. I know some that works for the post office. Some work for, I know one guy that works for Walmart. Walmart. You know, that's a high and mighty job, right? But yet, when they put on their mask of being a real estate agent and a realtor, suddenly they, oh yeah, they straighten their back up, they cock their head a little bit to one side, and they get that little cock in their walk, you know, cocky, you know. And they act condescending. Now they look down on property managers because we make $100. So we have a listing for a rental property that's $1,000 rent. We make $100. If it's $1,200 a month rent, we make $120. If it's $3,000 a month rent, we make $300. Well, a real estate agent, a licensed realtor, couldn't live on $300, right? Well, neither could we. To give you a little example of the dynamics of it, a property manager or an assistant property manager that's doing their job properly with my company can make $5,000 a month. plus bonus. $5,000 a month plus bonus. Plus they have a company car to drive and a company cell phone, because it's a numbers game. One-on-one, we don't make that much money, but with enough numbers, 500 rentals, well sure, now what's 500 times $100 a month? $50,000 a month. Okay, so we work hard for the money. We work real hard for making $100, and every 180 days we're taking pictures, doing an inspection. We have an inspector that goes around, inspects these homes, takes photos, sends a report to the owner by email, and it's no extra cost. It's all included as a part of our package deal. But realtors, on the other hand, they get 2 or 3 listings. Maybe if they're lucky, they'll have 5 listings, and some have a few more. Some of the better agents that work hard, they have more listings, and in their office that they belong to a brokerage. The brokerage, I had one brokerage, John L. Scott, that my wife and I worked for a long time ago on Canyon Road. There's 250 agents working out of one office on Canyon Road. They had room for maybe 20 agents in their little office spaces, you know, but everybody hung their license there and worked out of their home. Pretty sweet deal for the brokerage, because they got a percentage of everything. Anyway, I don't know where I was at. I'll go back. I'm regressing, and let me apologize if I regress. So I was telling you the numbers, how much money is made, whereas the average real estate agent might make a sale. Let's say they get a $30,000 commission. Typically, between 50 and 80% of that goes to the real estate agent. The other 50%, and some negotiate and been around a long time, 20% will go to the house or the brokerage. So let's say the typical real estate agent working out of their home gets 50% of the sales. That $30,000 now becomes $15,000. Most real estate brokerages, or many of them, get what's called a PAC. A PAC is a surcharge, like 10%, right off the top. So on a $30,000 sale, that'd be $3,000 off the top. And what that helps pay for is the B&O, business and operation taxes, insurance, and overhead for the company. So they take that $3,000, so that $30,000 is now $27,000, right? And then they get half of that. So the numbers get whittled down pretty quick. And there can be a desk fee and other charges and fees that the brokerage takes away from the agent. So, but if the average commission check is $10,000, which is a number I've heard, the average is $10,000. It could be as much as 30 or sometimes more, like with what my son did, a major development in a complex. They can get their numbers up, or if they're selling $1 million homes, whatever. But on a $10,000 sale, they might make $5,000. So for $5,000, if they, and it's like this: 2 or 3 months can go by without a sale. And if they're working pretty hard, every 3 months they'll make a sale. Who's going to live on $5,000 every 3 months? But they wear their suit and tie, and they're looking fine. And they got their head all up in the air, and their back is straightened out, and they're got that air of authority about them, and they may be very pleasant and kind, but a bit condescending at the same time. I'm better than you. And looking down on people. And they tend to look at us as like a red-headed stepchild. You know what I'm saying? Red-headed stepchild, like dirt. they wouldn't lower their dignity enough to be a landlord. Well, when the collapse happened in our economy back in 2007, 8, and some of the, like that, a lot of real estate agents were out of work. A lot of brokerages closed up totally. The one on Canyon Road with 250 agents shut their door. They closed up. All those real estate agents had to go elsewhere. We had opened our own brokerage a long time before that, so we were already independent. Real estate agents, I keep going back to that, and how much money they make and whatever, but the value of being a property manager is in the eyes of the beholder. If a property manager can make $4,000 or $5,000 a month, steady every month, it's a regular salary, and then once in a while they make a sale, well, they can make another 5 or 10 grand there. Plus they get bonuses over here. Not a bad occupation. The big difference, I suppose, isn't so much the money. I think the majority of property managers make more than real estate agents anyway, if they're doing a good job and they're working for a good company. But the big difference is there's a little bit more, it's a different kind of work. You have to deal with tenants that are unhappy. They have to pay out the majority of their monthly income to pay rent. So at that time we call it rent week, and during rent week is when the problems come out. Oh man, I got to pay my damn rent, and shit, the light bulb is burnt out here, and there's a drip in the bathtub. The bathtub is dripping, and whatever. I'm sorry. I used to be a tenant myself. My wife and I never thought we would be landlords, ever. When we were first married, we got married at 18. We were 18 years old. Now, I like to say sometimes that we were stupid, but it's really just we didn't know. We weren't really stupid. A lot we didn't know. Anyway, when we were married, we had a landlord that, when we moved out, was supposed to give us our deposit, and the guy didn't do it. His name was Doug Logan. Just screw that guy. He's dead now, so I don't care. I always, for years after that, I wanted to go look that guy up and beat the hell out of that guy. I just wanted to punch him I wanted to fuck him up, man. But I was so mad and so angry, because my wife and I had cleaned that house from top to bottom. My father and one of my sisters came over, and we were young. We were 18, 19. But they came over and helped us clean. So we cleaned that place better. It was better and cleaner than when we moved in. Now that's kind of a catch-all thing. This house is better and cleaner than when we moved in. Now, today, now that I'm a landlord, which I never thought I would be a landlord, today I'm a tenant advocate. You can go to allexperts.com. That's allexperts.com, and look up Donald Lesky, property manager. You'll find that I advise tenants on what they can do to get out of leases, to deal with a slumlord. That whole thing is simply for tenants. I've got hundreds and hundreds of tenants that have emailed me over the last 5 years asking how to deal with this problem or this subject or this issue. So I've helped them out, and and they can give me a 1 to 10 rating, 10 being the best. I've got a 10 rating. So in essence, I'm a tenant advocate, right? Right. I want to help tenants. In fact, I never thought I'd be a landlord, but I am, and I have to deal with that. I just kind of, I don't know what happened. I know how it happened. I began buying houses years ago. I bought a house, and then we moved from that house, and we bought another new one, and decided instead of selling that house to rent it out. So that's how it started. That was before I even became a real estate agent. So I became a landlord, and I'm a tenant advocate. You won't find hardly any landlords that are tenant advocates. By law, I have a fiduciary duty to the owner of the property to be their advocate. I have a fiduciary, that's legal duty, to look out for the best interest of the owner, and I do. But I'm not going to lie, cheat, or steal for anybody. I'm just not going to do it. And some owners have asked me to do that. I've actually terminated 18 owners in the last 3 years. 18. That's my bread and butter. That's where I make my money. But I've terminated them for various reasons. A lot of it for not wanting to take care of their property. Some have been for arguing too much. They want to be argumentative. I just cut them loose. One was yelling at my wife on the phone. I got the phone. I said, well, hello. We're going to have to terminate our contract with you and let you yell at somebody else. In fact, today you could go to Tacoma-property-managers.com, Tacoma-property-managers.com with a dash in between, and you'll find about 50 property management companies in Pierce County listed there. And they're all given various stars for depending what they do and don't do, what they can and can't do. And we're the only one with 5 stars. Prudential might have 5. I don't know. They had 4 last time I looked. But there's only 2, us and Prudential, that has BBB A rating. In fact, I think they're rated A, and we're rated A+. Anyway, whatever the case, we've gone over the income, how the income is more stable to be a property manager, much more stable, but there's a different expectation, a different workload. So a property manager has to always be on their toes. If they might get a phone call, it could be an emergency. If they don't want to answer the phone in the middle of the night or on a weekend or whatever, they have to forward their calls, or at least have a voicemail telling you specifically the caller what they can do, who they can call. And so if there's an emergency phone call, we don't want people left out in the cold. We don't want people without help. They all need to, excuse me, we don't want people to have to be out there without help. So anyway, I'm ragging on real estate agents quite a bit. It's just that it's a tough job to be a property manager. Real estate agents, the majority of them sit around in their office and they twiddle their thumb, and they might put some advertising out, and they wait for that advertising to do some work, and they're waiting for that phone to ring. They're ready for the phone to ring, and they want to get a listing or get a buyer, or they want to go out and do a sale, but the phone just doesn't ring off the hook, So they do a lot of sitting around. I know, been there, done that. But many go broke. And I think it's because of mainly lazy behavior, because those that are proactive and they get the job done and they go out and make things happen, those are the agents that are, they're more successful. So I've told you the pretty much the up and down of it. There's a lot more, of course. I just don't want to go there. I want to talk about sex, violence, drugs, and prostitutes. Okay, so that's going to be the topic of my next chapter, sex, violence, drugs, and prostitutes. Man. Okay, that's a whole different subject. So anyway, sometimes I feel like we should be licensed police officers, but that'll never happen. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This is Donald J. Lesky, Sr. Take a look at my next video to come. If you want to see about us, we're at www.bcirent. BCI stands for Business Consultants International, and then rent, R-E-N-T, bcirent.com. Thank you. Good day. God bless.